Hello and welcome to At the Water Cooler. This is Cooler Master's premium podcast, and today we have a wonderful guest for International Women's Month. We have Third Artifact. Hello.
Hi.
She is part of our global stream team, and we have, as always, Sharkums on the mic. Hello, Sharkums.
Hello. Hello.
How are you all doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
It's sunny outside. I can't complain. The weather's starting to break. I feel like winter is disappearing and my mood is skyrocketing. As you can probably tell, I'm not quite as dour as usual. So we will jump straight into this. I can see you laughing already. This is going to be a fun day. I'm ready. Third Artifact, hello. Tell me about yourself. Go.
All right. Well, of course, my name is Third Artifact, but I also go by Artie for short. I'm a variety streamer. I actually started out with variety, moved over to World of Warcraft, came back into variety. I love single player RPGs. They are chef's kiss. So I'm really looking forward to games like the new God of War when that comes out. Ready for it. Ready for some Hellblade. I'm hooked on Elden Ring right now. I think since Thursday, I've had maybe 12 hours of sleep since Thursday because I'm so hooked on this game right now. I can't stop playing it.
Man,
but it's a pleasure to be here.
No, I'm glad. And thank you for breaking every single bit of sleep pattern you have to join us. I know Elden Ring's been like draining your resources quite dramatically recently. And you've been on front page as well, right? From what
Correct. Yeah, all week long.
How's that been?
It's been really, really cool. Surprisingly, not as many trolls as we thought. I feel like people better behave when they see, oh, there's more people in here. Maybe this is like a very serious community. We're not. We're degenerates. But it's been really awesome. I'm not a Souls player, so it's been amazing to be able to get some of these boss kills down. And there's like over 1,000 people watching it, and I'm like, yeah, I did that. I did that.
The hype must be real. It must be like playing in front of an actual crowd in like a sporting event. Like that energy.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's like a moving block of text on one side, that hype must like resonate into your gameplay and really like get 100%. You like pumped up to do stuff. That's so cool. I guess we'll start from the beginning. Can you kind of like tell us how you got into streaming and like where that passion has come from? Because I believe you've not been over long in like the grand scheme of like Twitch and live stream in general. It's kind of been a quick, progress through for you.
Yeah, I've been streaming for almost 4 years now. I got started whenever some of my friends that I had met through Overwatch were like, oh yeah, we stream on Twitch. Do you want to watch? And I was like, what are you talking about? So I started watching them. They recommended that I should do it. They're like, you're really, really awesome. Like, people would love to watch it. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot because I actually love playing with people in Overwatch. And I thought it would be a great way to meet other players and have like some like full-on teams going. So that's where I started, and then it just kind of progressed into a job somehow. I still don't know how it happens, but I'm like, this is cool. This is fine. I'm okay with it. It's been an absolute incredible journey. It really has been.
Nice. And I guess like that setup and everything that you've kind of came in with a fixed community, right? That's all kind of changed recently. I know you were a WoW streamer when I first discovered you a bit over a year ago now. That's been your primary focus for that whole period of that startup, or were you hopping between games until you kind of settled on WoW?
Yeah. I started with Overwatch and then I moved into a couple other games that were kind of like Overwatch. And then I discovered Skyrim for the first time like a couple of years ago, became absolutely obsessed. And then that's when I started, okay, well, I've not really grown up gaming, so let's try some other games that I missed out on. And I went through and played a couple other single player RPGs. But before I streamed, I did play WoW for a very long time and decided to go back to it because I was scared. I was like, it's such a big game and there's so much knowledge behind like just, oh, kill things. And I didn't want people to make fun of my lack of knowledge. And I was like, you know what? Now I'm gonna go back to it because I kind of miss playing it. So, and that's really how that sums up basically everything before we met.
When you transitioned back out of WoW, were you raiding? Were you just leveling characters? And then what kind of did you break with Blizzard when kind of everything went down?
So when I first started playing WoW, I was a super noob. I didn't realize that hunters could turn off taunt on their pets. I was that person in dungeons. And then when I came back, because I was streaming at the time, so of course I had like a community, and a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, I play WoW. We could play sometime." And like they taught me things, and I learned through playing with them. And it went from being this super noob in dungeons to doing mythic raiding as a tank, and pushing keys. I fell in love with tanking. It was really awesome to just kind of be like, all right, I'm going to be at the front. I've got your guys' back. It felt just really empowering. And then I did break away from Blizzard back when a lot of the allegations came out about sexual harassment. And it was really hard to do. It was really hard because World of Warcraft got me into PC gaming. I built my first ever PC to play it before even like knowing anything about it. I was like, that game looks cool. Time to drop some money. So it really sucked to break away from something that initially got me partnered with Twitch, but I felt like it was the right thing to do.
That makes sense. Yeah. What
Yeah,
was your
no.
first
Oh, sorry,
expansion?
gotcha.
No worries. I was
First
just
expansion, Warlords of Draenor. Let me tell you, I got like the prime World of Warcraft experience. I played through Warlords of Draenor, um, Battle for Azeroth, and Shadowlands. So the three best expansions that they've had was what I got to experience. Don't ask me why I didn't play Legion. I'll go ahead and tell you it's an Overwatch addiction. But it's fine because I got the three best expansions.
Well, I mean, I could argue with that forever. But yeah, I like Battle for Azeroth a lot.
I hated it. I hated it so much.
I'm
But I
usually
did actually
the
like
opposite.
Warlords.
Yeah, Warlords was good. Actually, I mean, I like most of them except for, I think Cataclysm was probably my least favorite. But
I
we
missed out on
digressed.
that. Yeah.
You,
Well,
you
there
did.
might
I
be
didn't play it, so
there might be dragons in the next one, so get ready for
I
Cataclysm 2.0.
I
Maybe.
am looking forward to it.
Listening to you two like just nerd off about like WoW is something I've never understood. I'm just a sole FPS guy. Like it's been my lifestyle has been FPS games. But I do love just sitting and listening to these discussions. It's like they're so in depth and passionate. Like you can clearly see that. So I guess that leads me into that break and you mentioning how hard that was for you. I remember seeing you break down in tears on stream. Like that decision to make that move was clearly not an easy one for you. And I guess you found a short-term community in the Final Fantasy community. But I guess my question is kind of like, when you moved into that, I saw you then transition more into a variety streamer in terms of you've been way more flexible with, Phasmophobia, and I've seen you kind of dance around a little bit in terms of games again. Has this been quite freeing for you to open you away from being as a WoW community? And I know it was scary at first, but is that a release that you feel you've needed to kind of take that stream to the next level?
It's been a little bit of both. It was scary because this was a game that like it was the only thing I streamed for over a year. At one point, I was streaming 7 days a week. So it's scary because I was like, I'm back to having to plan each night. What am I going to do? What happens when I finish a game? What am I going to play next? So that part was scary, but it also has been freeing in terms of it's really changed up my community. I feel like I have a very different community now than back then. A lot of people, when I switched over to Final Fantasy, a lot of my WoW community was incredibly upset with me for that decision, and said a lot of very unkind things to me for that. And so leaving and going elsewhere and trying out other games has introduced me to people that don't really care as much what game I play, but more so who I am as a person. And that itself has helped me continue to be a variety streamer.
Would you class yourself as a variety streamer now as opposed to an MMO or RPG streamer that you've been in the past now?
Yeah, I would say I was trying to like stick to MMOs, but when it came down to it, I was like, I still want to play other games. And right now, like the MMOs I was trying, like Final Fantasy, New World, like they just weren't really hooking me in like WoW was. So I was like, I need more from gaming right now.
I don't think it was just you. I think that drop off, and I don't know about you, Sharkins, but that drop off on New World, on on several of that types of games, like Final Fantasy is obviously a bit of an anomaly there because it has a really hardcore following community, but new MMOs coming into the space seems to have a really high drop off point. Lost World, New World, etc., etc. They all seem to just have a cap in terms of attention span, and you see it be a flash in the pan, and then it kind of fades off quite quickly.
Right. I think for a lot of these new MMOs, they're just having a hard time finding their feet. Like New World, they didn't have anything for the PvE community. The PvE was awful. With Lost Ark, it's a bit overwhelming. I personally just have an issue with like some other things in the game that seem very sexist and it throws me off. I'm like, I want to like it so bad because it's like Diablo, but I want my character to have, like, real armor. I just want real
Yeah.
armor. That's all I want.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
some series that are like that. Yeah, MMOs are an interesting one, especially because there's so much time invested. And I was talking to a friend about this the other day. That's what we build is we build those relationships. Um, and I feel like new MMOs, like New World comes out and people are like, I'm gonna get to the end, I'm gonna get to the end. But people have varying ways of leveling or experiencing to get to that point. And we've all kind of found each other, say, in raiding World of Warcraft. They become our friends. We're there for maybe more community in the end rather than just content. Um, so I don't know. Maybe that's kind of how you ended up being driven out. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, like, driven out from these new games?
Oh yeah, that's maybe not driven out as the wrong word, but how you ended up transitioning out of MMOs into more of a variety
being a bit
or
bored of.
less stuck to the New World thing for a year straight.
I think a bit of it's a combination of gameplay and, the Twitch community, because when it comes to streaming a game, part of what makes you enjoy a game so much is what community is attached to this. So, New World, it was gameplay. I was like, I'm just not they had player collisions on in dungeons. I had a whole
I don't think I
so
knew
many
that.
problems with it. Final Fantasy for me, it was honestly the community because got really tired of being told you have to like the story, and if you don't like it, it's
Oh,
because you don't understand. I'm like, no, I understand. I just don't like it. And that in turn made me not like playing the game because I didn't like having people constantly explain these storylines to me.
Yeah, I
that
can
was
see
my
how that'd be
experience too.
frustrating.
I have a
Yeah.
friend that like cried at the end of the Final Fantasy story, but it just wasn't for me. It was always hardcore into the World of Warcraft lore and the whole story from start to finish. Well, it's not over yet.
I could go on for hours. All I'll say is like the expansions are like this: Realm Reborn, Heavensward was great. I've never cried so hard at a game before. But then the next one, Stormblood, I was like, no, no. And even the most recent one, everyone was saying it's going to be amazing. I was so pumped for it because the expansion beforehand was so great that when we got to this one, I was like, I don't like this one. And this is what a lot of the community considers to be the best expansion. And I'm like, no, it's not. And it just made me not want to. I still like, part of me still wants to do a lot of the rating in it because I hear it's very, very complicated. And I'm like, complicated rating? I'm in. But at the same time, I'm like, I just don't feel like going through all that again.
So
Yep.
you mentioned we're going to just pivot out of WoW chat for 2 secs so we don't go too far down that rabbit hole.
I will get stuck in there. So
yeah, I know we've got
Same.
half an hour, guys. I will be the arbiter of just moving us into new realms of conversation for this one. It feels like, because I assume we're just going to keep dipping back into that. But we've touched briefly on your views on Lost Arks, sexism, etc. I guess that is a good point to kind of start to touch on. You've always been quite vocal around trolls. I've seen some hilarious bits of content from yourself produced around, just a bit of kickback, telling people just to basically where to go, etc., etc. We're a bit child friendly right now, so we won't go too in depth, but you've been very good at handling that. I guess, what is your main takeaway from being a woman in an MMO space on Twitch? Like, is it as toxic as I imagine it to be in my head?
I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, simply because I know when I stopped streaming WoW, I very quickly noticed that I was having a lot less comments made that were sexist. For example, I actually have a command on my channel that says RBF that's just like, hey, do I look like I'm angry or bored? I'm not. I'm just focused on the game, because so often people would come in and be like, you look like you hate this game. Why don't you smile for me? You're so pretty when you smile. And I'm like, listen here, dude. Like, I'm doing a plus 12 mythic key. I'm the last person alive, and I got to kill this so we can time this key. I am focused right now. And if you're not impressed with my skills right now, that should be the focus. Is like, oh, wow, she's like getting it over here. She's killing this, not the expression on my face.
Yeah,
So,
never comment on an esports player not being smiley while he's focused, right? Like, it's a similar
right,
process.
right.
And I guess then, so where did your sort of confidence just to kind of clap back come from there? Like, was that I might as well get likes off the back of telling these people to do one, or is it just a way for you to vent? Like, where did that it impressed me from day one when I first started scouting, in quotation marks, because that's my job. I look for streamers for Cooler Master. When I first started seeing your content, that was one of the points where I was like, yeah, this is different in a way that felt very organic, and I kind of wondered where that came from.
I think maybe I've always been the kind of person to speak my mind when I'm upset about something, um, and vocalize when I'm even angry about things. I actually, when I first started streaming, was very much I'm not like the other girls. I'm like one of the boys. And then because I had so many sexist comments made to me, and also seeing all these other amazing women on the platform, I was like, okay, yeah, I was a bit of a pick me. So we're gonna flip the script here, and instead I'm gonna be calling out this behavior because it's wrong, it's inappropriate, it makes me angry because I work hard at what I do, and I don't want to have my hard work dumbed down to my gender, because when it comes down to it, that's not what's important. What's important at the end of the day is who I am as a person and the hard work that I've done. And for me, I feel like I need to be more vocal for those people who may not yet have the strength to be vocal and stand up for themselves.
It's a good use of your platform. Do you think Twitch is doing enough on their platform to protect people from the day-to-day shit that people have to deal with. We see hate raids being on the rise again. We see all of these problems that keep arising. Is there a solution here? Is Twitch too big to do anything about it, or do you just think they're just not doing enough?
I don't think they know what to do. So we have new tools to help with the hate raids. I think that was implemented so quickly just because it was affecting their revenue, let's be honest. But I think the only way that we're really going to see a difference is if there are repercussions for inappropriate behavior displayed on the platform. For example, I've had this happen several times where there's another man streamer that is going into women's channels and he's streaming their stream and talking to his chat about them, and going into their chat and making comments on their appearance, or trying to flirt with them. And it's incredibly inappropriate. It's unprofessional. And something needs to be done about that. Because if we allow behavior like that to continue on the platform, that's why we're going to continue to see hateful behavior. If you're letting your streamers who are the face of your platform act this way, of course, the people who hide behind usernames are going to act this way as well.
Yeah, they're meant to be the role models, right? They're meant to lead example. I think that then touches on the I can't ever say the word. The anonymousness of anonymity, however we go with that.
Anonymity.
Of the whole thing. Do you think that we're getting to a point where the only real way to kind of resolve this is to have more? Because you can start a new Twitch account off anything, can't you? Like people get banned and come back an hour later, like not even an hour later, minutes later, like just on a fresh account. Like I know mods, and I kind of want to move into that in a second because I know you're doing some great stuff to get your mods to packs, and I want to talk about their importance in all of this. But do you think that's the next step? Is kind of having to get rid of that? And would you take the potential hit in like personal revenue if the numbers drop off because people can't use fake accounts anymore, hidden faces, etc.? Would you accept that in return for a bit more safety on the platform?
I know currently, right now you can have it to where people in your chat have to have a verified email and two-factor authentication. And I had that enabled for being able to be on front page. And I noticed a significant drop in viewership and even started getting DMs from people saying, I can't get the two-factor to work, so I can't be in your stream. And it affected my channel immensely to the point where I was like, I gotta turn this off because this isn't fair. So I think if they fix that, it would be fine. I'm not sure how, I'm appreciative that the tools are there, and I'm also appreciative that I have the choice to choose. Do I want this on right now? Do I want this off right now? I can't really say for sure if I would want to take that dip in traffic. I think it really depends on where you're at in your career, where you're at with streaming. Are you at a point where you're like, oh yeah, I could deal with out 40 people that I usually have here? Or are you like, okay, I kind of need this right
privileged
now?
view, isn't it? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You're coming at it from a place of a bit more power. I guess for the new guys, they haven't got that, so there definitely needs to be another option, really, doesn't there? That fits for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And I guess then mods. You have a pretty robust collective of mods from what I've seen. They'd like to wind you up a little bit, I say, every now and again. But tell me what you're currently doing for them. That'd be really cool to hear.
Yeah, so I'm currently raising money to send my whole mod team to Twitchcon. They've done so much for me, and I know, like, in the midst of them, protecting our community, they themselves are also going through a lot in their day-to-day lives. So I wanted to show how much I appreciate them and everything that they do. So so far of our $8,000 goal, we've hit, I think, $5,300. So we're almost there. I've got mods that are from all over the world. So I think my most expensive ticket is my mod from Australia. He was like, are you sure you want to do this? I was like, listen, you have done so much for me. I am positive. I want to send you. We're going to hang out IRL. It's going to be amazing. So
I mean, with your
they've
stream schedule, he's probably just been on his normal day-to-day life. Like the
yeah,
fact that
yeah,
your
one hundred
stream
percent.
schedule is so broken, it's probably like midday for him. He's not
Yep.
busting anything to sort you out. Like it's actually you just being that broken of a of a sleep pattern.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though, since they're from all over the world. They all have different sleep schedules. So if I do like the other day, I streamed for 18 hours straight. I didn't even realize it. I was so stuck on Elden Ring. I was like, I can't put down this game. But I constantly have mods in there because one goes to bed, one wakes up.
I guess the
Can I ask a
importance of
question?
Oh yeah, sorry,
Mhm.
go ahead, James. Go.
You have this selection of mods. Were these people that just kind of hung out in your channel, or were they people that you knew? Did you,
Yeah, I've
just kind
always
of
wondered how people
how you
become mods and
selected
how
them?
you find them in the first place. Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah, they were people that hung out on my channel quite a bit. So they were viewers that, were super friendly, super active. Whenever I would go into a very serious conversation, they would follow me into that serious conversation. Because sometimes, like, I like to have serious talks. I feel like it's very important. And sometimes you have some viewers that are like, I don't care about this. I'm going to make some sound alerts go off on your stream when you're
Mhm.
talking about women's rights. So those that like took things as seriously as I did, but were also a lot of fun and always there. I was like, hey, do you want to like maybe mod for me? Some of them are not as active as they used to be, but I always tell them, I'm like, don't worry about having to be there all the time. Like, we've got a big enough mod team. Be here when you can and when you want to. You have no obligation. I can't pay you, so like it's okay if you're not there. But yeah, they were just people I ended up getting really, really close to. And since modding them, they all have my phone number and address in case like I choke on my food and stream and die in my chair. That's one of my worst fears. So I'm like, you've got my number. You can call an ambulance and send it here if something happens.
That's pretty like awesome that you've built that relationship. I'll see what I can do about topping up some of that fund for you as well, just as a thing.
Don't make me cry.
No,
Don't
like
make
your
don't.
community's always been really important to us here at Cool Master, so I'll have a chat internally. I'm pretty confident we'll be able to chuck some money in that pot for sure. So
I
leave that
love
with
this
me.
place so much. Like you have no idea.
It's good. We're fine. We still need to replace that headset though. We're gonna have to blur that out for the for the live stream.
I'm so looking forward to it. You have no idea. People keep going, oh, you have a new headset. What do you have there? I'm like, it's this garbage PS5 headset. I've got a new one coming. But in
It
the
is on its way.
meantime,
It is
don't
shipping.
buy
Don't
this headset. Don't do it.
worry.
It's bad.
But yeah, we'll definitely look to prop up a little bit of that there because getting someone from Australia is a ridiculous challenge, and I'm kind of
Mhm.
invested in that myself now.
So do you have some plans for the future in your stream for growth or YouTube or anything like that you want to share? Please go ahead.
Um, yeah, I need to do YouTube. I need to be do so because I didn't grow up a gamer, I missed out on a lot of iconic games. And as a streamer, I have to keep in mind, okay, what can I play that's going to be good for my channel? What's going to bring in viewership? And some of those games that I missed out on, if I streamed it now today, like it wouldn't get any viewership. So those games I want to put on YouTube where people can enjoy when I'm off stream. So for example, like I gotta play Mass Effect, I gotta play Zelda, just so many really big games that I missed out on. Gaming was it was frowned upon in our household. So
Man,
that's what the future looks like. Keep on expanding those horizons.
well,
Yeah,
touching on
there's
some
a
historical
pile
games.
of very good RPGs.
Yeah.
A lot.
I can vouch for that.
I'm always down for more suggestions.
That was all the Final Fantasies was basically my childhood. Yeah, I can't say I moved into it with the WoW eras, but the old PS1, PS2
Uh,
days, it was RPGs. Anything that I
I don't
could keep
know.
in my house for longer.
I don't know if Star Wars stuff ever interests you, but Knights of the Old Republic was maybe one of the best games
Incredible
It's on
game.
my list. It's all I
Yeah.
literally have a Discord for just like my like managing all my stuff, and that's on there.
Oh, that is an incredible game. Now I've
Yeah,
got to
that
be.
that
I'm gonna have to refine that myself now. That's yeah. Oh,
that remaster is coming. The remaster is coming.
Yeah, but do you wait for it, or do you just go play the classics and get that experience?
No. I did a lot of times on many platforms. I even have it on mobile.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, yeah, whatever. Right, we'll move into the wrap-up stage here. This has been incredible. I've really enjoyed this chat. Can you tell people where to find you? This is your moment to self-promo yourself. Please go. And all the links will be in the descriptions on the YouTube and on the Twitch stuff. Everything. So please go.
You can find me on Twitch at Third Artifact, YouTube, Third Artifact, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Third Artifact, across the board, everything. That's where you're going to find me at.
Amazing. Well, this has been At the Water Cooler, episode 4. You have been Third Artifact. You have been Sharpens, and I have been JTB. And thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next time. We have one coming up very soon. Yeah, tatty bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.